Hey, welcome back to the Passive Pathway. This is Nelson, aka Nelly. And before we jump into today's powerful episode, I want to take a brief moment on a personal note. Over the past few weeks, some episodes were postponed and a few were cancelled. The reason is simple and deeply personal. I lost my mother. It's been a heavy season. Anyone who has walked that road knows it changes your rhythm, your focus, your energy. Family comes first, always has, always will. I truly appreciate your patience, your quiet support, and your understanding. It means more than you know. And in the spirit of moving forward with strength, with purpose, I'm back now. Hey, and welcome to the Passive Pathway, the show where we talk about building income streams online, creating long-term wealth, and designing a life where your money works harder than you do. If you're here, you already know. This isn't about hype, it's about strategy. And today's topic, we are going straight into the fire. We're talking about something that's been sitting quietly in the financial room for years. Why are most millennials still underexposed or completely absent from crypto investing? Crypto has matured. Institutions are entering. Regulation is evolving. Technology is advancing. Yet, statistically, a large percentage of millennials still hesitate. Is it fear? Is it misinformation? Is it outdated financial advice? Or is it simply not understanding how to approach it correctly? Let's unpack it. Today we have a special guest, investor, strategist, and financial thinker, Myles Dhillon. Myles focuses on long-term wealth strategy, modern asset allocation, and understanding where traditional finance intersects with emerging opportunity. And today, we're diving into the crypto gap. Myles, welcome to the Passive Pathway.
Nelly, thanks, man. So nice to be on. I'm a listener as well. I've listened to loads of your episodes, so it's nice to chat to you in real life.
Oh, that's wonderful. The thought is mutual. Let's jump into the Q&A. Myles, why do you think so many millennials still avoid crypto despite its growth and visibility?
Well, I think one of the main things is the confusion between Bitcoin and crypto for me. And I think that crypto in general has a bad sort of PR rap, really. And I think that Bitcoin just gets mixed in with all of that. And eventually people just say, oh, I don't know about this crypto stuff. There's scams going on. People hear about hacks. People hear about rug pulls where they invest and then their money goes to zero. And I think that is one of the problems. And one of the things that I try and talk to people about, millennials particularly, is, look, it's Bitcoin here. And then there's all these other cryptos. If you want to gamble in those things, go for it. But if you want to put your money into something which is the sort of the original, safer digital gold, then let's talk about Bitcoin. And then if you want to explore those thousands of others and you've got time for that, be my guest. But I feel like there's enough to learn about in Bitcoin on its own.
And when you say thousands on its own, you're specifically talking about altcoins?
Yeah, I would call them altcoins. All the alternatives, they're all effectively copies of Bitcoin, or they're Bitcoin plus something, or they're a variation on the innovation that Bitcoin brought into money. And pretty much all those other cryptocurrencies have a CEO, a founder, someone who did a pre-mine on the coins and allocated it to themselves, or they got a marketing team, offices in other countries. I'm not anti putting money into those cryptos. I just feel that I don't have time to look at all of them and understand the management teams and the value proposition that they have. There's just too many. There's already enough stocks in the stock market to try and understand.
True.
For me, it's just Bitcoin differentiates itself by not having a founder team that we know where they are, not having a PR team that are pushing the benefits of Bitcoin. It's just sort of spreading organically by itself. And for me, that's very appealing about Bitcoin.
No, absolutely. You have a point there. Now, is there a difference between when we say altcoins and meme coins? Are they different?
I think they are different, but the meme coin mania just passed me by, really. When meme coins started all hitting Twitter and just becoming big, I just looked and thought, this is exactly like the ICO stage. If people don't know, there was a big stage where there was all these companies doing initial coin offerings. And then before that is when Ethereum and Litecoin and a couple of others, I've got involved in all of them. And I just realized when the meme coin mania came out, this is just a progression of altcoins. And I feel like in altcoins defense, at least they have some value and some utility, whereas meme coins are just out there for fun and hoping that they're going to make some money. I mean, that is the height of gambling, really, for me in the crypto space.
I like the way you say it's the height of gambling. It's like another way of saying in the crypto world, a hype. It's like they hype it out too much, right?
Yeah. It's just the peak hype gambling. It's also sad that there are people who have put money into it, and I think that highlights where we're at in society, that people are so desperate to find yield or gains with the money they're earning. They all put their money into crazy stuff, and I don't think it's their fault. I think they're in a system where you have to try and get some gains, and if you're desperate, you're going to go into the meme coins.
So brings me up to another question. Do you believe this hesitation is more emotional, educational, or cultural?
Yeah, good question, man. A good question. I think it is educational, because I feel like people who are in the millennial bracket are internet natives. Basically, they probably got into the internet when they were teenagers, I imagine. So they should really understand that the internet money is something that's going to come. They should really know that's culturally, we should understand that electronic money is a thing. So I feel like it's more of an education piece, and there's so many layers, because really most people don't really understand what money is and how money works and how money is created and how money is passed around the system. So that's the first thing. That I didn't know anything about that when I left school. I knew nothing about money. No one taught me anything. My parents didn't teach me much. I had to learn all that through mistakes. So then to take people from the first layer of understanding what money is to the second layer of there's a new money that disrupts the old money, it's quite a lot of steps for people. And you realize that there is a lot of education that needs to go first. And I had to go through all the rich dad, poor dad, understanding that whole world of like understanding that the more I work, the harder I work, doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to create any wealth. I had to get that foundation first. And then I got to the next bit, which was something's wrong with the money that I'm saving. It's devaluing all the time. And that was when I started finding out about Bitcoin. So I think it is an educational ladder that people need to go on.
I love the way you put it. That's a very nice analogy, I would say. But do you think it's very overwhelming when you talk about Bitcoin or all these crypto things as an education platform? And not everybody, knows about Bitcoin. Not everybody knows about crypto. But then does it become so overwhelming just to get to know about it?
Yeah. No, I totally understand it. It is overwhelming. And I had a friend on my podcast recently. He's the Bitcoin IFA, the Bitcoin financial advisor. And we were having a discussion about why people hire a financial advisor. And it's basically because they don't have time or the interest in learning about investments, which is fair enough. So there's a whole industry created to help people know what to do with their money. But my argument with Bitcoin is, you don't need to know what to do with your money. Really, on the foundational level, we should be able to work hard at your skill, at your craft, at your job, get paid for the energy that you put into your job. You get paid money as a token of your energy. And then you should be able to spend that money and keep it for the future. Like we shouldn't need. It's almost like the whole industry shouldn't really exist, but it does. So we have to deal with that.
True.
But we should just get. If our ancestors got paid in gold, they would have kept gold, done some trade and barter, and they would have held that gold, knowing that gold is going to be more valuable in the future than it is now. And I feel like that's a really fair and just system. And it makes our current system look a little bit unjust.
It is. Yeah. Currently, yes, it's unjust, but that is definitely a fair way and a good way to look at it as well. Now, when we talk about that, we talk about risks as well. So what risks do millennials face by completely excluding crypto from their portfolios?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Bitcoin maxi. You probably can tell.
Yeah. Are we? Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I come soft to people. My pitch to friends and people who listen to this and other stuff that we make is really: are you so sure that the world is going to get less digital? Are we going to go back to gold as a use of money? Probably not. Are government currencies going to fail eventually? Yes, all government currencies fail. It's just a matter of time when they do. And you sound like a mad conspiracy theorist when you say that, but you just need to look at some data for 5 minutes on Google. And really, if you believe the world is only going to become more digital, are you so sure that Bitcoin isn't going to be part of that new digital money, that you're not going to have any exposure to it? At least do 1% or 3% or 5% of your portfolio, just as it's almost as insurance.
True.
It's insurance against.
Good one.
Yeah, against being wrong. Like you could be wrong. That you might think Bitcoin is terrible and all the things that people say about it, but don't you want to just buy like a tiny insurance policy in case you might have some sweet bias against it, and then you're going to benefit anyway, and maybe just buy a little bit for your kids. And if it goes to
zero. Absolutely, Myles. I completely agree with you, because there are many who totally disagree with the fact that Bitcoin is actually something that could really change, change your life, change the way of your thinking, they actually think it's a big scam.
Yeah.
No, this is real asset, real currency. People don't understand that. Talking of which, how should someone approach crypto responsibly without treating it like speculation?
Yeah, I mean, I feel that it's one of the only industries or asset classes where there will be someone like me who's a proponent of Bitcoin, who instead of telling you why it's a great investment and why you should buy it, I'm telling you that, and I think that you should, but I'm also telling you, you must do your own research. You must find out for yourself. We have this saying in Bitcoin, don't trust, verify, which is how payments are verified between each other, between people on the Bitcoin network. And I think that flows into other areas of life as well. Don't just trust what people say. Don't just trust me. You should
Absolutely.
You should do your own research,
If due diligence. Due diligence.
Do your own, and like we've seen the big dip in price recently.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's crazy.
It's hard. It's hard. But if you haven't done any research, you're going to sell at a loss and freak out. And, I really have to test myself and think, okay, has anything changed? No, just the price. Do I still believe in this? Yes, I do. So I'm going to hold it, and actually I'm going to add more. So I think that we're the only industry that tell people, don't trust us, figure it out for yourselves, but I do actually say to people, why don't you just buy a little bit? And then through buying it, you'll start watching the ups and downs.
True.
And then you'll get more interested in it. And then you should start doing some research for yourself. Before you start allocating serious capital to it, you should really do your own research. And that's not even like a disclaimer. It's just great advice. And it's really interesting to find out about.
When people are doing it the first time, it's good advice. They should, do a little bit of research, do a little bit of due diligence, do a little bit of, this and that, reading, of course, observing. But if it's not your first rendezvous, then it's, what it is actually, because this is the right time right now to buy Bitcoin because it's at a low. Absolutely. And when people are, when there's fear in the market, it's the best time to buy because everybody's selling and you buy cheap.
God, I love you, Nelly. You've got great.
And when everybody is, really, confident it's going to go up, sell because that's the time. Yeah. It's going to go. So, that's where you make your money. So, and you buy cheap, sell high. That's how it is usually. And of course, again, do your due diligence. Now, from a portfolio strategy perspective, where does crypto realistically fit today?
We'll be back after a quick break.
ready to spend your crypto so fast. No conversions needed, your crypto is cash. Shop anywhere online or in store. Withdraw from ATMs and so much more. Instant top-ups, fees stay low. Total control where you go. Read and pay makes it smooth and bright. Your crypto, your card shines so bright. Get 20% off today. Tap the link, don't delay. Global access without the stress. Read and pay clears the mess. Virtual or physical way. Sign up now, don't wait to pay. Instant top-ups, fees stay low. Total control where you go. Read and pay makes it smooth and bright. Your crypto, your card shines so bright. Get 20% off today. Tap the link, don't delay.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of portfolio allocation, I'm irresponsibly long Bitcoin, right? So I'm not the right person to ask this. So someone was asking my wife the other day. We had a friend, another mum round there having kids dinner with us, and she was saying, so maybe I should just put £1,000 in Bitcoin. I was like, yeah, you should just do 1,000. Like, that's great. And she said, how much have you got in? I was like, well, I don't tell you how much I've got in. She was like, what sort of percentage? And I was like, pretty much everything's in Bitcoin now. And my wife said, what? We haven't got any stocks. I was like, no, I sold those ages ago. And she said, oh, I thought we had some shares and stocks.
You spilled the beans.
Yeah. But we have some property. I'm from an Indian family. And
don't you dare sell that, darling.
So actually, the pressure to keep property is more that I don't want to break relationships with my family to think I'm actually lost my mind.
Absolutely.
But I would say, to speaking to the mainstream, I would look at, I think most people, if they're managing their portfolio and they're following kind of traditional portfolio management strategies, I think most people would agree that a 5% gold allocation would be a normal amount to having gold. Quite a lot of people would think that was smart. So I would
Balanced.
say, do you want to cut that in half and put half in gold, half in Bitcoin? You may see that over the next 5 to 8 years, that 2.5% will dwarf the gold position. I mean, gold
absolutely.
Is very high right now.
Absolutely.
And
Although gold, everybody's buying gold right now. If you see, every country is literally grabbing as much gold as possible, whether it's Eastern Europe, whether it's West, everybody's just trying. And even though the US says it doesn't have crypto, or I think it has a stockpile of crypto that it's even taken from the black market, so that because it knows how powerful the digital gold and it's what it's going to be in the future. Rightfully said, people should have I myself have a massive portfolio in crypto. So I definitely, it's something that I tell everybody, even if you think this is not for you. When we talk about the passive pathway, doing passive income, you definitely were dealing with crypto. And fiat currency, when we talk about passive income, that was passé when we were dealing with, projects in matrix projects and, MLMs and so on and so forth. It's not style. It's not the thing right nowadays. Now, if you have crypto, that's the thing. You're dealing with crypto. You're dealing, which one? Bitcoin, Ethereum, or you're dealing with Solana. But moral of the story is definitely there should be a certain amount or a percentage of your portfolio with crypto, and that definitely, just like you said, you're a maxi into Bitcoin. So that's something that's I wish, many people say this. I wish I had bought Bitcoin back then. It was cheap, it was not available. But then, okay, you always have something coming in. Don't miss out on that. But still, there should just be a little bit that you can take in and keep it on the side, just like insurance, you said. Now, if a 30-year-old asked you today, should I own Bitcoin? What's your short answer?
Yeah, the short answer is yes. You should own some Bitcoin. I mean, are you so sure that you just have to look around and see there are now very highly intelligent, sophisticated investors and investment houses putting some of their clients' funds into Bitcoin. Unless you're so arrogant that you're going to say, no, I know better than them, you should have a little bit of Bitcoin, because smart people, smart money is putting some of their wealth into Bitcoin. So yes, you should be putting a bit in.
Mm-hmm. And what's the biggest myth millennials believe about crypto?
Oh, that's good. The biggest myth. I think there's a lot of cognitive bias around Bitcoin and crypto. People. Okay, here's the biggest thing. The biggest thing is, because it's new, it's obviously not good. It can't be a real thing.
Nice.
Because it's so brand new. And that is similar to every technology that came in has a similar wave of adoption. Mm-hmm. When the internet came in, you had highly intelligent people saying the internet will have no bigger impact on the world economically than the fax machine. That guy, Paul Krugman, he's like one of the leading economists
yes.
in the world. But I don't even know how he's still got a voice, because he made such bad predictions about the internet. People listen to him on other things still. But, and also when the internet came in, people didn't really know what it was going to do. They thought it was just sharing cat pictures with each other and sending emails and stuff, and nefarious activities on the internet as well. But people give the same thing to Bitcoin. Even electricity, when electricity was first sort of introduced and they were running power cables through cities, people were terrified. There were news articles saying it's the death lines, and they want to go back to using coal in houses instead of using electricity to light them. And there was so much anti electricity propaganda out for a very long time, and it was decades before people got on board and started saying, okay, electricity's here to stay. And it's been the biggest influence revolution in the world, electricity in houses and factories. And I think Bitcoin's on a similar path. Everybody is not sure about it. It's new. They don't understand it. And they're like, well, I don't like this. I'm not going to get into it because it's probably going to disappear. But it's not. It keeps coming back. So one day you've got to look at it and think, okay, it doesn't seem to be going away. Everyone keeps predicting that it's going to die, but it keeps coming back. It's still here. So what is it? At what point do you decide I should probably look into this?
And now electricity has become atomic energy as well, and that's even more. Your electricity prices have reduced because of the atomic energy. Of course, we had hydro before, and so on and so forth. So yeah, definitely, that's a good point you brought in. Now, that brings me to the next one. One mistake new crypto investors consistently make. What do you think?
I think it is. Yeah, like we talked about already, buying high and selling low. It's really, if you're going to put some money into Bitcoin and you're a bit emotional and you might freak out if the price goes down, you should probably look at the amount of money you want to put in and cut it into 10 chunks or something and buy that much every month. Not because that's it's a good trading strategy to get more of an average price. It's called dollar cost averaging, but it also insulates you from freaking out, because if the price goes down, you just buy it consistently. If the price goes up, you buy it consistently, and then you end up with the middle price, and you don't feel so stressed if the price goes down, because you're like, oh, it's quite close to what I bought it for.
Nice advice, because I've had a couple of people who've done this. Is they bought Bitcoin. Okay, can I buy some Bitcoin? They bought it and the price was high, and after they bought it, suddenly Bitcoin started going down, and they were like, oh no, this was your advice. I said, well, you go ahead and buy it, but that I didn't tell you that it wouldn't go down. It's going to go down and up. But what's the guarantee it's going to go up the next day? I said, I don't know. Maybe in a month, maybe in a year. It's just you'll have to hold on to it. Oh, no, that was not good. You should have told me before. I would have bought it when it was cheap. So I don't know when it's going to be cheap. So you just have to be... It's a calculative risk that you have to take. But... that's what Bitcoin and digital assets are. You have to, what's the term? You have to ride the waves. So you just have to ride the waves and go with the flow.
I'll tell you about a friend of mine was messaging me saying, I don't want to get into Bitcoin because my boss lost £80,000 on Bitcoin. And I said, how did he lose £80,000 on Bitcoin? I was thinking he's lost his hard drive or something, or some way. And he said, we bought it he bought like 160 grand worth of Bitcoin. I was like, wow, okay, wow. He was obviously like a fairly wealthy guy. And I said, yeah, so how did he lose it? He said, oh, it went down 50% and then he sold it, so he lost 80 grand. I was like, we didn't really lose. He locked in a loss. And then I said, if he'd held it till now, he'd be up. But he didn't really lose. And I think that goes around a lot, that sort of stuff, when people say that kind of thing. It's like, no, you're mixing things up. He didn't lose that. He locked in a loss, and that was his choice. He freaked out and sold.
Myles, that's a very valid point you brought up. Thank you so much for bringing that up. In fact, let's talk about that one. Many people say that they've lost Bitcoin. The numbers are still the same. It's just the value at that point of time is because you've emotionally sold at that time, the thinking that you've had, and that's why you have that loss. If you wait for a while, if you hodl, you wait it out till the price goes up. You might even make double or triple. But it's all about patience.
Yeah, totally.
Have you had that situation actually on your end?
Yeah, I mean, I've been in Bitcoin for a while, and I've been in quite a few ups and downs, and I've made mistakes and ended up with less Bitcoin and then had to rebuild my position again. And and I listened to your episode about hodl and borrowing against your Bitcoin in the future as well, which is like a brilliant episode if people have not listened to that.
Exactly.
It really is. That's what I'm going for. I'm holding Bitcoin for the day when you can borrow against it in a way which is the percentages are quite low for borrowing, and you feel like the market is very developed for lending as well. And that's what I'm going for. I'm going for like a low time preference life, a life where I think about the future a long way ahead. And that then encourages me to think about my children's future and my health into the future and my family in the future, not what can I get next month. I'm not trying to make those gains. I'm trying to be more conservative in the way that I plan my money and use my money. And it's very stressful if you have a very short time preference as well. If you're thinking about how's this going to go up next week, you're just stressed looking at the price the whole time. You know, I really try to look at the price less. It's very hard, but I try to look at the price of Bitcoin less these days than I did in the early days, because I'm just thinking, okay, I'm going to check in a year's time what the price is at. And if Bitcoin goes to $1 million, someone's going to tell me anyway. So I don't really need to check all the time.
Of course. I on the other hand, I focus on, not putting my eggs in one basket. So I keep investing. I keep putting them in a number of good, profitable opportunities. That's why it's the passive pathway. There are a lot of passive income opportunities. Now, again, there you have to do your due diligence. Don't jump, into anything just like that, because, next thing is you have Bitcoin that you could have hodled, but if you put into something and it's gone, then that's a proper loss. That's not like as if the price of Bitcoin went up or down. This is a proper loss, is you put something somewhere and that business has disappeared. That's definitely a scam. So with that coming into thought, here's another one. If someone missed Bitcoin early on, is the opportunity truly gone?
I don't think so. I mean, when I got into Bitcoin, it was around $100, and I thought I missed it. I thought I've missed Bitcoin at $1. And people who got into Bitcoin at $1 thought they missed it at 1 cent. And there's always going to be someone who feels that. It's similar to the housing market. A lot of my friends are like, we missed out on buying a house, when they were cheap. I'm like, when was that? 100 years ago, houses were cheap. 10 years ago, they weren't cheap. There's never a time. And very often, my friends and people who we know, everyone's trying to buy like a sort of that big family house now. Everyone's getting to that age where they want to buy the proper forever home. And they can't believe that their parents bought their houses for £100,000, and they're these big 4-bedroom detached houses, all, with gardens wrapping around them. They can't believe that they bought these houses. And I think that people will look at us when we're grandparents and say, I can't believe you have Bitcoin at $100,000 or under 100,000. People will say that to us, I think. And it's a similar situation. So you choose, and you've probably heard we say everyone gets Bitcoin at the price they deserve. And that's you can't force someone to buy it, but when you gather the knowledge and you learn about it, that's the point at which you understand it and you buy Bitcoin. So the earlier you are in, the quicker you understand it, that's where you then get the deserving price of Bitcoin. And if you take too long, then that's your fault. You don't deserve it at a cheaper price.
Well, like I said, it's the pearls of wisdom right from the person, Myles Dhillon. And I like the way you said that. I just love the way you said that. The earlier you are in, and you will benefit from that. Exactly. I mean, that's a nice analogy, actually. Right now, a house of $100,000, and in the future, Bitcoin worth $100,000, which could be millions. So, I mean, just imagine the difference in generation and the gap that's going to be there. I think that generation will say, "Oh, mom, why didn't you buy Bitcoin that time?" Oh, it's like right now, "Oh, you guys are so old. You guys, your thinking is so old." So the new generation will say, "Oh, you guys, you didn't even buy Bitcoin." So I can imagine how that would be. Now, Miles, in one sentence, what mindset shift is required to build digital age wealth?
In one sentence, it is questioning your pre-held assumptions. Yeah, I could expand, but questioning your pre-held assumptions. I think if you're not able to do that, and you're not able to look at what you believe to be true and question it and think, is everything that I've been told by my parents, by the banking sector, by the government, is if I can't question all these things, I think we're moving into a world where if you're unable to question your pre-held assumptions and, you know, the way you got to those opinions, like, I mean, no one really has their, I mean, I would believe that my opinions are not my own. They're an amalgamation of all the different things that I read.
Oh,
and listen
absolutely.
to.
Oh, absolutely.
But if you're not able to question where that came from, I think it's very hard to move into a new space like crypto assets unless you're able to question, is it definitely the best thing to put my money into the stock market or into gold or into property? Like, where is the best place to put it? If you're not able to question that, I feel like society and culture are telling everybody is crypto's not good, don't get into it, it's a bad vibe. But you're not able to question, why are they telling you that? Well, let's look at the incentives. There's no incentive for the mainstream to get new people into the crypto industry because they're not going to be able to charge you management fees for the crypto that you're holding, because like they do with the stock market. So I really feel like you have to be able to challenge your pre-held assumptions. Otherwise, you're not able to look at with fresh eyes these new investments that are available to us.
You know, is it right? Is it okay? Is it correct? You say that it's okay to question. So one should question, right? Or it's
Yeah. I mean, I really love teaching my kids that, and it can be quite annoying because they end up questioning stuff that I say as well. But
exactly.
I sort of like to tell them. This morning, my son was saying to me, "Do you know it's impossible to sneeze with your eyes open?" And I said, "Are you sure? Who told you that?" He said, "I listened to it on a podcast."
He has a point.
I said, yeah, he does have a point. I said, "But have you actually tried it?" You know, he's like, "No, I haven't." So then the whole way home on the walk, he was like, "Oh, I'm going to sneeze. And he didn't sneeze. But I said, you shouldn't just listen to stuff that people tell you. It's not guaranteed that that's going to be 100% true. You should verify. Don't trust what everyone says. You should verify. So I do think it's important to question. And I also, you know, this is getting quite on a fundamental philosophical level. I think that there are times in the last 50 years and 100 years where governments and authority positions have lied in horrific ways, particularly in Europe, if you're a European. And I think that if we're not a society that is able to question things that we're told, we end up in a very tricky situation like we experienced in the Second World War in Germany. It's you have to be able to question things, and it's much easier for people to just go with the flow and follow what everybody says. But I just don't think that produces a very sovereign person who's able to think for themselves and question things.
Absolutely. That also increases, basically, you know, I'm a person who likes to have a full baked cookie rather than just, you know, half. So knowledge is power, and it's better you have it, you know, in the totality rather than just, you know, a little bit of everything. And if you're reading a book, you'd like to read the whole book. You just don't read a little bit and just put it away. Otherwise, what's the use of getting the book itself? So if you want to learn about Bitcoin, you should, you know, put your hands, legs, everything into Bitcoin and understand the whole thing. And then, you know, take a piece of it, and then you'd really actually, you know, once you start learning about Bitcoin and you actually acquire the asset and hold on to it, which I'm sure you will agree with me, you really tend to, you know, like it a lot, and you become so fluid about actually having that asset. You really, you know, it becomes easier day by day to actually understand, and then you start it's a very intellectual piece of equipment, rather to put it in that way. It's very smart, and that's absolutely fantastic. It's been a pleasure to have Myles, give us his time. It's been a pleasure just to have, being able to listen to the answers from the gentleman himself. He's been very, very consistent intellectually, giving us this knowledge. And like I always say, it's pearls of wisdom that I always, get from my special guests. And they've acquired a lot of experience. They've acquired a lot of, through their own practicality, through their own education, through their own experience, through their own speaking anywhere. And that's what I like about in the Passive Pathways, because these people come and they share it with the audience, with the people who are listening to these podcasts. And when you take this and you put it into practice, then that's where you will gain from it. And that's where you will, there's, at the end of the day, nothing is, risk is everywhere, and nothing is permanent. There is something that, there is a shift always. But, here are people who are learned, who are giving sharing their experience, and that's what matters, and that's what makes it special. So, Myles, I'm going to give you the floor. If there's anything you'd like to share, if there's anything that you'd like to put forward to the listeners, to the viewers, so that, they can, going forward, understand more about Bitcoin or the gap, or they'd like to know, about your website or contact details, etc. So you can go ahead. Up to you.
Yeah, I mean, you can listen to my podcast. It's called Should I Invest in Bitcoin? But you're already covering a lot of the stuff that I cover in my podcast. It's more for new investors into Bitcoin. But I think the only other thing that I like to share with people is the morality of Bitcoin. And there's a lot of people in the UK society at the moment saying that we should tax the rich more, we should take assets from the rich, and we should increase taxes on the rich, because it's hard for working people to be able to get anywhere in the world at the moment, because the rich are taking everything. And there's a big image that the reason why prices are going up is because greedy capitalists are increasing the prices the whole time. And I think it's not really true. It's just that's a very convenient way to frame the increase in prices. What's really happening is when banks lend to people, they increase the money supply. When governments print money and send it, like in the coronavirus crisis, they send money to people, they lend it to businesses, that increases the money supply, and they're creating this money from nothing. That then means there are more dollars or pounds or euros in the system chasing the same assets like houses and eggs and beef and cars. The price of these things go up because more people have more money to be able to bid on those items. And I feel like it's not fair to tell people it's because capitalists are greedy and rich people are taking all the assets. And I feel, for me as a Christian, a person who follows the Christian faith, that it's very immoral to be able to create money from no work. Like, you should have to work to create money. You have to put energy in to create value. And when governments print money, there's no value behind what they create. And for me, that makes me feel that if the more we use Bitcoin, there's only 21 million Bitcoins that can ever be created. So it's not possible to create more of them from nothing. It actually brings a morality to the money, because it means everybody is on an equal playing field. And when you're paying each other in Bitcoin, or using Bitcoin eventually in the future, there's no one that can then say, I'll pay you 1,000 Bitcoin, and then I'll just print some Bitcoin for myself, then I'll pay that person. That can't happen in Bitcoin, but it does happen with the government money. And when you say it like that, it sounds absurd, doesn't it? But that's how the money we use is created. You pay and then print some more, print some more. I mean, everything's going on in Iran at the moment, and a load of those bombs that are being sent all over the place to kill people and create destruction are being paid for by the printing of money. It's not that anyone in America has decided to pay more tax to send those bombs over there. No, they'd say, no, I don't want to pay more tax to bomb people in Iran. Absolutely not. Whatever you think about the war, whatever side you're on, it's irrelevant. You must be able to look and see that there is an immorality to the way that our government money is being used to be spent. And I feel like Bitcoin draws things back, for me as a Christian, to a place where there's a little bit more alignment with truth and morality. And, I believe the ultimate truth is Jesus, but there can be truth in money as well. I feel like Bitcoin makes me feel good about the money that we could be using in the future.
True, I agree with you, Myles, there as well, because religion is one very big aspect, and definitely that is there. Our foundation, our beliefs, everybody has different beliefs. There are different, cultures, different people have different religions, etc. But at the end of the day, everything revolves around one thing, and that's energy. And that's energy in nature, energy in everything that you use, anything and everything that you do, the give and take of whether it's an asset, whether it's a digital currency, whether it's people in the same room, it's energy. Even now, the comfort level, the comfort zone of being able to conversate with someone, whether on each side of the world, globally, so these are all things. So it boils down to energy, and that is so important. At the end of the day, the times we live in, we should, focus on one thing, is to share as much positivity, as much positive energy, to be genuinely kind and genuinely provide that energy in a good way. And that's knowledge. Knowledge is a very strong energy. And Bitcoin, of course, is one of the things that we're talking about, is energy as well. So it's come out from that. And it takes a lot of energy to make Bitcoin. So you can imagine how powerful it is. So it's not just, it's just, so everything has its own analogy. Everything has its own, structure and things. So, all that, has to be taken into account. Thank you so much, Myles, for coming on the podcast. The Passive Pathway has outshined today with you being on the podcast. It's been a great, great honor and pleasure and privilege to have you on the podcast. And thank you so much for your time. And I'm sure the listeners would have taken down, notes and made an effort to do that, and would put all your pearls of wisdom into practice. Thank you once again.
Thanks so much. I love chatting to you, man. Thank you.
Same here. Myles, this has been insightful, grounded, and practical. Exactly what this audience needs. No hype, no noise, just clarity. Thank you for coming on the Passive Pathway and helping break down a topic that deserves intelligent discussion. If today's episode taught us anything, it's this: avoiding something doesn't eliminate its impact. The financial world is evolving. Technology is rewriting systems, and wealth in the digital age requires awareness, not fear. Whether you invest in crypto or not, make it a decision based on understanding, not avoidance. That's the difference between reacting to the future and preparing for it. Thank you for walking the Passive Pathway with us today. If you found value here, share this episode. Leave a review, and most importantly, stay curious, stay consistent, and let the system do the heavy lifting. Until next time, this is Nelson, aka Nelly, signing off.
Wake up slow, the coffee hot. Money moves while you are not. No more hustle, no more grind. Earn it smart and save some time. Plug it and drool out the noise. Watch your crypto make some noise. Click some streams and big dreams. Living light with passive themes. This the Passive Pathway. Freedom meets your payday. No boss, no clock, just Wi-Fi latte. We be chillin', we billin', no limits, just willin'. Earn smart each day. On the Passive Pathway. Sunrise high, the world below. Cash still flows while you let go. No more stress, no more chase. Money works at its own pace. Set it up, then walk away. Watch the numbers grow each day. Hands are free, but pockets full. Passive life so beautiful. This for Passive Pathway. Freedom meets your payday. No boss, no clock, just Wi-Fi latte. We be chillin', we be billin', no limits, just women. Earn it smart each day. payday. No boss, no clock, just Wi-Fi latte. We be chillin', we be billin', no limits, just win, earn it smart each day.